Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum to all my brothers and sisters and to my children, lovely children. Um, Today, inshallah, as normal, we will start from verse 51 to verse 54. And this passage is Allah explains the believers and the hypocrites. So, likewise, what we discussed yesterday, there's a very similar topic, and I'll read from verse 51. It goes, the believers' response when they are summoned to Allah and His Messenger for judgment is, we hear and obey. So that's the response of believers, yeah? The servants, the true servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah, we'll discuss on this terminology that Allah's the course, in a sense, that Allah has used. We hear and obey. It is such a people who are successful. Then Allah says, straight after that, whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger and fear Allah and is mindful of Him, such a people will be victorious. So Allah Ta'ala, subhanahu wa ta'ala, is stressing on the previous statement where Allah said, it is such a people who are successful, yeah? And then elaborating in a sense, that those who obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger and fear and are mindful and is mindful of Him, such people are victorious. And then from verse 53, it says, the hypocrites swear by Allah using their strongest oaths that if you were to command them, they would march out to battle. Say, don't swear. Obedience is recognizable. Yeah. Allah is aware of your works. Say, obey Allah and obey Messenger. Obey the Messenger. Then if you choose to turn away, He will answer only for what He has taken on, and you will answer for what you have taken on. If you obey Him, you will be guided. The Messenger's only duty is to convey the message clearly. Yeah? So from the beginning, so that's the from verse, I've just read from verse 51 to 54. And inshallah, with the most gracious, the most merciful, we'll go back on verse 51, in which Allah says, the believers' response when they are summoned to Allah and His Messenger for judgment is, their response is, we hear and we obey. Now here, we talked on you will recall, inshallah, that we talked about believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, believing His existence, and believing on all the other things. I don't want to repeat myself, but we need to come to this realization, to the fact of life, and to the fact that when Allah says, I am the controller, I am the sustainer, I am the maintainer, then, we are nothing. We are just, we are His servants, and we need to submit to Him. And by submitting to Him, what we're saying, that we will accept whatever comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah? So anything which seems good to us, or anything which seems unreasonable, let's say, to us, we accept it without any distress and without any hesitation. Yeah? That is the strongest part of believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the believing in His messengers and and everything else that I mentioned. The part of the iman is, yeah, all the books and angels and everything, yeah. So when Allah says that you the response of the believers, the response of the true servants, is that when they are called, their response is that we hear and we obey. Yeah. So what is this we hear and we obey? Is that we, the call for prayer, and we, we obey. We do the namaz, alhamdulillah. We call for paying the zakat, the charity. We do, alhamdulillah. The call for the, looking after the parents. The call for the going to Umrah. The call for the going to Hajj. The call for going to joining the forces in, if there's a need in an Islamic country for jihad. Yeah, calls for knowing the difference between halal and haram. This is the guide Allah said in the various chapters, but in this chapter as well, that this is the light. Yeah, being that this is Nur, you need to learn from this. And we said that yesterday. I don't know how many times through this chapter I've repeatedly said that we need to learn and we need to obey the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is, we hear and we obey. Yeah, if, for example, we have a knowledge, let's talk about a subject that you are really good in school, and you have the, you always get the top marks. Why do you get the top marks? Because you have the knowledge, and when the exam comes in, you go in and you transfer your knowledge onto the piece of paper. Yeah. But what is the knowledge good if you don't transfer that knowledge onto the piece of paper? Yeah, you won't pass, will you? So having the knowledge is one thing, but then putting it into practice, that is the difficult bit, and that is the most rewarding. Yeah. Now, I want to mention something else here as well. Yesterday, we talked about the rewards, the ones, and Allah saying again here, the ones who obey me, the ones who obey my messenger, yeah, and have fear, they are the victorious. Why does he say that? Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that? Because He loves us. Ulama say that the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves every single one of us 70 times more than your mother does. The mother who gave you the birth after keeping you in her stomach, the pain that she goes through to have you, the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves you more, 70 times more than your mother does, that mother who gave you the birth. Yeah. So this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that there's a reward. If you obey me, if you hear me and obey, then the reward, then the bounties in the Jannah, yeah, that you will enjoy, the infinite life that you will have in the Jannah. So this, that's His love, that's His passion for us, for every one of us, for male and female. Then we talked about yesterday that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the other side of the coin is that if He says that if you disobey, yeah, then obviously there's a punishment. No, why there's a punishment? Why Allah says that there's a punishment? If you, Allah ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is His love is at the peak. Yeah. So when He says, if you disobey, then there's the punishment, there's the hell, and you may have calamities during your life in the world, because He's trying to save you from that punishment. He doesn't want you to suffer in the dunya or hereafter. So that's His way of expressing His love. That love that He has for us, for every one of us, like I said, for male or female. When Allah says that, if you hear and obey, and there's the reward, there's a Jannah, and there's bounties in it, that's the one level of love. But when Allah says, I will punish you through the calamities and through the hellfire, then that love is at the peak of the love, His love, because He wants to save you. He doesn't want you to go against His will. No, we know, just I want to add here as well, that we know that our shaitan is our enemy. Yeah? We know the shaitan is our enemy, but we fail to disregard him, don't we? He still succeeds against us by by making us do things which are forbidden, by making us waste our time, the time that we should be using to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No, it's not just about like, praying all the time, sitting on the praying mat and, reading, but it's all about, it's that consciousness, doing the zikr, reading different things and remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, showing the gratitude in your life, whatever you have, showing the gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah? So we discussed that, but I just wanted to add some, the couple of points that I'm already that I've made today. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that hypocrites swear by Allah using their strong oaths that if you were to command them, they would march out to battle. Say, don't swear. Obedience is recognizable. Allah is aware of your works. Say, obey Allah and obey the messenger. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that one doesn't need to be loud. You know what I mean? So if I love you, any of you or all of you, I don't need to look for the opportunities to be loudest in the room when everybody's there with all your cousins and all your aunties, to say that, oh, I love so much, I do X and Y for that for my children or for my family. The love will show itself by my actions. Yeah, that's a simple example. I'm just trying to explain to you what it means. Yeah, so Allah is saying that those who swear and they express their oath in the way that they, if I were, or if my messenger were to tell them that you need to march out to battle, in the jihad, then they would do it. Allah saying, I know you, and this is so many times only in this chapter, Allah has said that whether you conceal something in your hearts, yeah, or whether you openly discuss it, I know, I am the knower, I am the wise, yeah. Allah says, I know where you hide and where you don't hide. Here again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, and your intentions from inside, Allah knows those intentions that you hold inside you. So I know it's the obedience which is recognizable, and I can, I see it. And we said it yesterday as well, that we need to have is how we act upon the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger. Then Allah says that if you choose to turn away, He will answer only for what He has taken on, and you will answer for what you have taken on. So here, what that means is that, so Allah is addressing His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, saying that if they disobey, then they will be answerable for their doings, and you are answerable for your doings, yeah, for your acts. So every single person, again, whether they're male or female, they are answerable for their acts, so whether they're good or bad, yeah. And so we is that making sense? So my job as a dad, as a father, is to convey the message as the best way possible with my obviously limited knowledge, yeah, to yourselves. Then, if you listen, obviously you're listening, and that's it's a mercy as well, that this is one of the merciful thing as well, that you've been coming every day in, day out, and you've been listening, and that willingness, inshallah, Allah will reward you for that. Now that's so you are getting reward for being here, yeah. That's one thing. The second thing is that if you act upon some of the things that we have discussed so far, and we will inshallah discuss, yeah, through this chapter, then that reward is what again multiplied. Yeah, what we discussed is the mathematics of mercy. Yeah, but if you don't, I mean, if you listen, but if you don't put any of that into your life, then I will be answerable for my acts, and I will be able to say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I conveyed the message to my children, and they listened, but they didn't obey. Yeah? So then obviously you are responsible for your acts. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to his messenger that you have conveyed the message to them, and you are responsible for I know what you have done, you have conveyed, but if they are failing to listen, hear and obey, then they'll be held accountable for their account. And then Allah says that if you obey him, you will be guided. What makes the difference is the one who is trying, Allah paves the way for them. Allah, He makes it easy for them. Those for who? Those who are trying, yeah, to bring the commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their life. Yeah, that is the difference. And the ones who just completely ignore, then if you ignore what Allah says in the different verses of the Quran, in the different chapters, that if you ignore me, I will ignore you. Yeah? It says, if you ignore me, I will ignore you. If you remember me, I will remember you. But at this age, alhamdulillah, like I said, you're coming and you're listening, you need to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that it is making you, this is what we need to understand, that is His will that is making you come upstairs and listen. And there must be some good in it for you. And all those obviously who are listening to my and who are watching me day in, day out through the social media as well, I hope that I'm sharing something useful and the people the brothers and sisters are benefiting from this. And then in the last bit of verse 54, Allah says that the messenger's only duty is to convey the message clearly. So, that's clear, isn't it? That the messenger can only convey the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And, it's up to then individuals. And those individuals that, when those who were living at the time of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then, today's individuals, me, you and me and everybody else, up to the last day of this dunya, those who will follow us, yeah? And this is why we have the Quran. That we need to listen, and the other, obviously, Islamic material. We need to listen, we need to read this, we need to go back to it again and again, and, learn from it. So we can keep the level, inshallah, the level of Islam that is needed for us to be safe. So we can save from ourselves from the hellfire. And I need to make sure that I save myself from hellfire, yeah, and I save you from hellfire, for all of you, yeah. And if I can play a tiny bit of role, saving you from hellfire, helping you to recognize the gratitudes, the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how we need to glorify Him, how we need to have that strong faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and what we need to do day in, day out to pray and seek forgiveness, seek repentance, look at ourselves and keep, going back and repenting. And there's a hadith of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, during the night, He spreads out His hands, yeah, and He says, anybody who is seeking repentance for his daily sins, I'm here to forgive, yeah. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spreads His hands out during the day, and He says, anybody who wants to seek forgiveness for their sins they did during the night that just gone, yeah, for the last night. So Allah's one. This is the this is the level of His love for us that I've discussed earlier. Yeah, that's the passion for us. And He's saying, He's warning us again and again, and He's guiding us. He says, "I'm here. Ask me for guidance. Seek forgiveness. I'm the only one who can guide you through the good and the bad. There's no one else. Come to me. Come to me." It's always is again and again. He's saying that come to me. I can rescue you. Now, there's just one other example I want to share here. That going back to your school life, if you do this typical good example, alhamdulillah, during these current circumstances, yeah, and we just had some students who would have taken their GCSE exams, but they weren't, because of their no exams. So what the teachers have done, the instructions they had from the government, that they used their average. They looked at the average for every single student, and they awarded the grades based on their average for each subject. But guess what? This is the good news. This is the love of of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for every single one of us. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at your good deeds, yeah, it doesn't average out. It doesn't look at your last year's performance, last 10 years performing prayers, last 10 years fasting, last 10 years of charity, the money that you donated, or anything else. It doesn't average out. It looks at the best of your performance. Allahu Akbar. It looks at the best prayers. It looks at the best of your fasting. It looks at the best intention when you donated something to somebody. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the wisdom to understand this. It looks at the best of everything that you did for His sake to please Him. And then He rewards you. It gives you the result based on those namazan, based on those fasts, based on those the charity you did, based on the acts that you did when you lived your life with consciousness, with the fear that I will stand in front of Him one day, and I'll be answerable to all my acts. Yeah, that's the level of His love that I spoke about today. Alhamdulillah, with His mercy, with His grace, the passion. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives all of us to understand that, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps us to have that consciousness, that level of consciousness that we need to have, to obtain that love from Him. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to again, like I said, keep that relationship that we have through this month and throughout the year. That's all for today. Remember me in your du'as and my family and everybody else from the ummah of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, those who have gone from us, those who are here, those who are about to come until the last day. Keep praying for everyone. Assalamu alaikum.